Hello guys and welcome. Now, Geya from China have sent me this watch to review on my channel. I'm very grateful to receive an actual free watch to have a look at. They actually gave me the option of a bunch of different watches from their store. All of the links will be in the description, of course. But I've never heard of this brand until they reached out to me by email, and it seems they do a lot of interesting homage watches to quite high-end brands. So I picked this one out just because I've experienced a similar watch through my Seiko mods, and let's see if it's any better and if it's truly worth its price of around $250. So this is the box you get. It is a big box. It's a good 20 centimeter sort of cube box, and inside we get another box. So they haven't cut costs when it comes to the packaging here. Really quite big and heavy. Let's get rid of these outer boxes. Inside, you do get some kind of warranty card and an instruction manual, somewhat in Chinese, although we do have English as well, but fairly simple stuff. Moments for life seems to be their motto, and it's a 2-year warranty you get with these watches, which is always good. Now, looking at the watch itself, open this up and you're greeted with this set. Now, before I carry on, I really like that they include a little mini bracelet adjusting tool. So this would obviously be used for the push pins in the bracelet, but I've actually used this already to size the watch to my wrist, and it's surprisingly neat and a simple way to do it. So not very premium looking, but definitely useful. So thank you, Geya, for that. Now, onto the watch. Obviously, it is an AP Royal Oak style. And this is one of my favorite watches personally. And I've always wanted the real one. Of course, it's outrageously expensive, but this one is only about $250. So is it worth it? Let's dive in and have a good look around. So let's look at this one a bit more closely. We have a beautiful skeletonized movement and dial. And I love the fact that it's really symmetrical. We've got the balance wheel at the bottom, we've got the mainspring at the top, and you can really see all of the key details, levers, rubies, or jewels. We have very minimal branding on this as well, which I prefer. Some of their watches do carry the Geya brand name, which is fine. Perhaps doesn't make sense in all markets so much, but this one kind of hides it in and amongst the skeletonized parts. So from a distance, you would assume that this is just a sterile brand, or even a genuine AP. On the sides, we've got a small logo, sort of laser etched on the crown. The construction of the case is all very similar to what I'm come to expect from kind of AP inspired integrated bracelet watches, including some of the ones that I use for Seiko modding. And this one does genuinely feel a bit better quality than some of my examples that I've managed to make. So over on the left here is an example Seiko mod, which is based off the NH72 movement. Now, recently I've been using the 39mm case, which is a bit more wearable for most people and feels a little bit better quality. I must say that this Geya watch, considering its overall price would be cheaper than a mod that I would build using those Seiko parts, this one actually feels higher quality. And I'm not just saying that because they gave me this one for free. I'm honestly being, well, honest there in recommending, if you are looking for the better kind of quality cases, this is something that you should look at. For the price, it is amazing, actually. Now, the movement itself is, I believe, their M series movement, which is a Chinese manufactured movement. Nothing special, no special specs. As far as I know, you won't be able to modify this into anything else. The case is all fixed as usual with screws for the main case to bracelet attachment, which you can also, I believe, spec to a rubber strap if you prefer. But if you're getting this kind of watch, I think it has to be on the bracelet. On the back, we've got the double push button, the deployment clasp with a laser engraving with the Geya brand and this sort of G logo. And overall, the case feels like it's nicely finished. It is a little bit sharp around some of the edges, but they always are. So I am quite impressed with the overall case finishing and the details they've gone to here. They also make the classic sort of blue dial, which I'll link in the description as well. And of course, the more classic colors of these AP Royal Oak styles, obviously with their own brand name. And you can even get like diamond bezel ones as well. So if you're looking for a classic AP look for budget price, but you still want a decent level of quality and finishing, or this would make a really great gift for someone, honestly, someone that's into watches that wants to try something like this out. You can't really go wrong. These have already come across far better quality than the sub $100 range watches. And as we know, in the Chinese market, we are finding better and better quality each year. So this seems to be a great value proposition if you're looking for this kind of watch. Interestingly, Geya also make all sorts of super high-end watch, homages to things like Jacob & Co. even. Their Astronomia series look fantastic, and I'd love to try one out. So Geya, if you're watching, that could be the next watch I'd like to see and see what it's truly like in person. So that's enough of an overview. Let's do some sizes. So let's have a look across the case here. We are getting 42, actually, excluding the crown. So it is a 42 diameter. Now the lug to lug will be quite long on this type of case, around 50. Now there's not much point measuring the bracelet because we can't change it for much else, but it is around 26 at the top there. The thickness, let's have a look off the cushion now. So it doesn't come across particularly thick. It does seem very similar to the Seiko mod versions that I've been able to make. Seiko movements are notoriously quite thick though, and these cases do provide quite a level of space. So just before we look at that interesting rotor, let's just verify the thickness. So we're going to go for here, and it's about 12 millimeters. It actually looks thicker than it is, which is strange. I think it's because it's quite blocky and sharp edged, and you get these polished sides on the top and the back case. But either way, inside we have some relatively simple laser engraving. I kind of wish that was a bit smaller perhaps, or in a more interesting font. But either way, it's, I believe, 100 meters water resistant, this case. And it's got this lovely rotor, actually. It's quite a nice decorative rotor on the back. You can somewhat see through the whole dial, which is something that I've really loved even on the Seiko versions of this. You've got that chapter ring with some lume markers, and of course we'll do a lume shot in a moment. But overall, the fit and finish of everything, I don't feel like there's too many sharp edges. The clasp is nicely done in that it's quite an easy action. It doesn't have the fold over part that we get on some of the Seiko examples, but sometimes those clasps can be a little bit fiddly. This is a bit of a simpler butterfly clasp, but it is comfortable. I'd honestly say this is quite comfortable, and the weight is about the same as the Seiko versions. So when I say Seiko versions, of course, I mean the Seiko mod versions, which you might have seen on this channel before. So let's have a look at it on the wrist, and we'll do a lume shot and some final conclusions. So here it is on my 7 3/4 inch wrist, and you can see I absolutely love the dancing light effect you get off an AP style bracelet, an integrated bracelet like this with lots of brushing and even polished surfaces. You get a real light show from all the reflections, especially off of that interesting dial. Legibility perhaps a little bit harder on this particular model because you can see your eyes are just drawn to all the other elements, but this would work on a slightly smaller, more average wrist than mine because, of course, if we pinch the sides, you do have a fair bit of flexibility in the bracelet. Of course, lots of removable links there as well. I just took one link off the standard bracelet here. But if you've got a larger wrist and you're used to rocking 42 plus size cases, then this would probably be the one for you as well. Overall, I think it looks amazing on the wrist. Honestly, this looks better than the Seiko mod versions. It just looks a bit cleaner. The dial looks a bit more detailed. I'm really impressed what they were able to do here for around $250, I think. This is actually a really impressive watch. Now, jumping back in to the movement operation, this is not a screw down crown, so all you got to do is wind it. Reasonably clear winding action, nothing getting stuck or jammed. To pull to the full position, everything stops, so you do have your stop seconds. The hands, I've noticed, line up almost perfectly to those markers, so I'm not worried about any alignment issues here. Let's have a look at 6 o'clock. It's a bit hard to see these hands. That would be my only reservation. I'd say they are pretty much bang on. So alignment, feel like it's nice and tight. I don't feel like there's any play in this at all. And I believe there's just the one position. Yeah, there's just the one position, no screw down crown though. For this kind of crown, it can be a little bit annoying when it's screwed down as well, because it's quite sharp to use and you have to keep winding it or unwinding it and then winding it to screw it in and out. So I don't mind that as long as it maintains good water resistance and it's guaranteed from the factory. That won't be an issue. Now, overall, I'm really quite pleased with this. Let's have a quick look at the lume actually before I give you my final thoughts. So charging it up with a UV light here, you can see quite a strong blue lume, and it is really quite deep blue. I can honestly say the hands aren't as bright as the markers around, and they are definitely not as bright as Seiko lume, but then again, nothing is. I would say it's useful to have it, but it's not a key feature of this watch, really. It's more about that skeletonized dial, and the overall kind of case and package for this price is really impressive. So guys, would I recommend this Geya G-Max Classic Series AP Homage watch? I think I absolutely would. If you like the look of it, you will certainly like it in person. And Geya have been quite decent in terms of shipping, customer service, reaching out. I've been asking them questions about their watches, and they've always been very happy to respond quickly. So I don't think there's any risk in getting any of their watches actually, but these stood out to me as the most attractive, especially for my audience. So hopefully you would agree. Is this a better watch than the ones I can make? Honestly, probably yes. For that price, I would never be able to make something like this. The advantage of Seiko modding will always be that you can forever change the dials, hands, movements easily. For this, you're kind of stuck with what you get. But if you like what you get, well, that's no issue either. So guys, let me know what you think of this watch. Big thanks to Geya for sending me this one. I may well be giving this away in a future video, or you might see it available on my store as well. Please keep subscribed because I may well get some more watches like this to take a look at, but I'm really impressed with where Chinese watchmaking and quality is going these days, and I think we're going to see some really exciting stuff in the future. So thanks for watching all, and I'll see you next time.